that's where the discussion moves to now, I think, in terms of whether COP26 has been a success or not. I think what's notable is several of the papers pick up on the president of COP26, Alok Sharma, and his kind of tearful address
20 years since I first suggested to Birmingham City Council that the West Midlands
it is notable this deal. It's the first time in nearly 30 years of UN climate summits that all nations have explicitly agreed to reduce the use of coal. The terminology, the phrasing is what is attracting attention, and understandably so, because the phrase phase out the use of coal was in previous drafts of the deal. Phase out has now become phase down.
For the processing of
so I'm a little bit unsure where that phrase has come from. And I think what is notable in the Sunday Times piece as well, something that struck me, was the fact that India and China are really the
20 years
countries that have pushed for
trying to help
softening the language
stop
around reducing the
and
use of coal.
prevent
But what is interesting is that it is the US that brokered that deal with those countries on the floor of the summit. I just wondered where President of COP26 Alok Sharma was as that was going on. It certainly left a lot of countries a little bit disgruntled with the way the process has been handled in the last few hours.
Ali, this phase out, phase down, I mean,
the world
some people are trying to
the people of the world should feel
the
neglected
of coal are now becoming unviable.
by
it's
the
just
people
no longer the valuable commodity
control
the way the markets are
the system,
the markets actually shift,
and the system
together.
is
are you more optimistic than perhaps this headline
rooted
look, I think
in
it's been quite an achievement to actually get
monetary economics
the first time it's ever been mentioned
and the market
in a
system,
to Callum's point,
where profit has to be made.
And there are cops that are on probation. And I think this is very much a cop on probation. Look, I think we need to take the positives out of this. I know Alok Sharma was very emotional at the end, and I would be too if I'd spent 2 years of my life giving up a plum job in the cabinet as business secretary to devote my time to this. So it is very emotive, but I think it's a step in the right direction. Look, you've got to understand that India, and to a lesser extent China, are going to argue always that they want to keep their development goals and their poverty reduction goals, particularly in the case of India, at the forefront. And those need to be balanced with climate considerations as well. So there's a balance to be struck. And I think that people on the outside
coal's got to be completely phased out.
Have to understand.
I said it in one of my...
Politics is the art of the possible. And I think 197 nations have signed this agreement.
Whatever it is, YouTube comments.
1.5 is kept alive. At the moment, we're on a trajectory to 2.4 degrees.
15 years ago, and I was talking about it. Yeah, 15 years ago.
5 years' time. So I think that's positive.
But nobody listened then,
on that,
did they?
Ali, the Mail on Sunday
Pardon me.
seems to be echoing your tone. Glasgow made history last night. The world signed off the most ambitious deal ever seen to tackle global climate change.
Oh, gives you the wind.
There's a lot to be done.
Climate
change. There were
change.
some good things earlier on in the first week. There was a reduction of methane. There was a commitment to stop deforestation. There was also Mark Carney's big...
They should be growing hemp and not trees.
Representing 130 trillion of capital in the world to try and finance some of this.
Let hemp nourish the soil for the trees,
there's also been a lot of talk about climate adaptation.
so that the trees can grow after that. We don't need so much hemp anymore.
Talked about in 2015 the tragedy of the horizon, the fact that policymakers and indeed financiers don't look beyond the tips of their
financiers got to pay for everything. The monetary economic system's got to make a profit.
And look, I think the whole conversation around climate change has generally changed. Most people get it.
I shouldn't be laughing, really. I'm not a comic, you know.
But there are costs involved. And not every country comes
so you can trust me.
In their development trajectory.
You can't trust comics.
When you're trying to find an agreement with 197 nations.
So I was informed.
There are always going to be grubby compromises to be done.
By reasonably well-known American comic.
Callum,
can't trust what comics say, so I'm not a comic, really.
I mean, in a sense,
I'm just telling you the truth.
It's one of those strange situations where even getting
It
countries
is
to agree to something
capitalism
feels like an achievement.
that is
Even though we've
causing
been talking about this subject now for
climate
30
change.
years. If you go back to the Earth Summit,
It is the
you know,
capitalistic system
it's now almost
that's profit-driven.
to get to a stage
That
where we can
is
talk
what
about
is
phasing
causing
down rather than
climate change.
Yeah, I mean, and absolutely, and I take Ali's point about politics being the art of the possible.
These lot won't talk about it on the BBC. They won't say that capitalism is causing climate change.
Or any, particular eureka moment. We know what we need to do, and actually, it's the lack of political will that's frustrating. There's no.
Oh, my neck's gone all stiff.
COP summit until the next one.
Oh.
That's the thing, is that change is incremental. I was reading the brilliant science editor from the Times, Tom Whipple, earlier in the week, who said
I'm going to have a drag on this joint.
30% of countries had net zero targets. Now it's 90%. And so we see the change happening. The issue is that it is so slow. And even today, the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, says this is an important step, but not enough. We've kept
4COP26 in
alive,
Glasgow
but the pulse is weak.
has
and
done
so while this might be the most gripping COP drama since the bill, actually it's so serious
to
at this
prevent
point, and it's the lack of political will
the rise above 1.5 degrees.
China even comes back
when
on
it,
this
in
course.
fact,
It's not legally binding.
it shouldn't be a rise
no end date for
at all. It should be a stabilisation of
should have solved in the last 2 weeks. Callum McDonald, wash out your mouth at once. What do you mean?
Temperatures that we had, perhaps 40 or 50 years ago, before we realised that this was happening. That's what it should be. We should be below global temperature of 50 years ago. But we shouldn't be 1.5 above what we are at the moment. That's ridiculous. It is an insanity to even say that we can limit it to 1.5. The Maldives will be underwater. But they don't care. They've never cared. Don't you understand?
By any means to avert it or to minimise the effect. But in some ways, we are at a stage in human development. We are an extraordinarily advantageous position.
I think that's right, and I think that you're right to point out that we have tools, and we also can see it with our own eyes. You saw the wildfires in Greece that razed 100,000 hectares of forest to the ground. You've seen the issues in California with wildfires there. You've seen the floods and the devastation and loss of life they've caused in Belgium. So people can see this on their doorsteps right now. And look, Paris was very clear about this 1.5 degrees
the only way
pre-industrial levels issue.
To actually reverse global warming is to minimise all polluting industries as much as possible. Now,
that would imply that things are pretty bleak. However, the way this system works is that countries are meant to come forward with nationally determined contributions, basically targets that they're going to meet.
And that means people not buying cars anymore.
We need to have the 2030 target to reduce them by half from 2010 levels and keep that on track. And 5-year gaps to check in on the process.
It means people actually cutting down on the amount of electricity they use every single week.
Which they're now going to do in Egypt. So that is a big victory.
Using everything
You've got to look at this in the round.
efficiently.
China is on a rapid development trajectory. It's not going to give up coal.
And that includes
However,
all
the fact that they've even discussed having a bilateral discussion with the US in the last few days
means of
it shows that when you do get around people
creating
table,
anything.
President Xi didn't turn up,
But we must start creating just the things that humanity needs and minimising the production of everything apart from food.
And you're right about
clothing, and housing, which everybody needs. But that food, clothing, and housing needs to be produced with 100% efficiency locally in the nations where people live and choose to live. Because people might choose to live in nations that are producing better food, clothing, and housing. But we all should be living in inequality, which makes 7.5 billion of us comfortable and content with the life that we have, without having the stress of having to deal with the monetary economic system that nobody understands, and which is wage slavery, a country.
For what, about a year now, for months certainly.
And the monetary economic system is a tool of capitalism. And capitalism is the cause of climate change. Because it has to have all of these multi-industries producing multiple products that humanity doesn't actually need at the moment. What humanity needs is a definite survival program for the whole of humanity, not just for those that survive the effects of climate change, which may lead to a total extinction of a third of the Earth's
pipeline to get his Russian gas flowing via
species.
to Europe, right? So he's got other issues. He doesn't really want to stand.
Can't you tell I'm getting old?
In fact, I don't think he's particularly by all accounts for ramping up the rhetoric here. Lukashenko's got his own game to play. Callum's right. He's cracked down on dissidents. Svetlana Tikhanovskaya's been turfed out of the country. Maria Kalesnikova's in prison. So he's a tyrannical dictator, but I don't think Putin is going to be too pleased by the way things are going right now.
And it may be a signal that the
world's in chaos.
press agencies yesterday, last night in fact, were reporting that the Belarus foreign minister was saying, well, actually, we've cancelled some.
Every nation there is a warfare, there is a nation of warfare
to Poland. So maybe this has reached
and creating weapons of mass destruction.
I want to end with the front of the Express terrific story on the motor
of any
disease.
kind.
£50 million
should be
money being contributed to this. I lost a relative about a year ago to it.
Pariah state, a state that no other nation should talk to.
Devastating. It has had many people. It's a wicked disease, Callum, and it's nice to see some money going into research.
They are
perhaps not as glamorous
these
nations some of the
nations
other diseases get big charity support
that need armies.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think
alongside
this headline of
people.
£50 million funding is a picture of Doddy Weir.
Savages.
I'm completely over the moon, of course, rugby legend Doddy Weir.
And we used to call
for I think about 4 years now.
the Native Americans the savages.
Behind this, it is horrible. It's a horrible
who were
disease,
worse than them.
And it's got some high-profile people like Doddy Weir kind of speaking out about it more recently, and so very welcome.
This is the world that we're living in.
Investment in finding,
sick,
I believe, in British efforts to find a cure.
Mentally unstable.
So, absolutely valiant. Worth mentioning
world
some of the other papers do have some stories
by
about the Prime Minister, about other
the
MPs as well. So
capitalistic system,
kind of having a step back,
which controls our minds
a positive distraction.
Yeah,
that doesn't take
and makes us all
it is distraction. It's doing some good. Ali, we've no time for you. I'm sure it's a
monetary slaves.
Ali Barrage, Callum Don, thank you both very much. Pleasure to speak to you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your weekend as well. Coming up next, the film review and the weather. And then we'll be joining Philippa for the news.
Control.
Good night.
But unable to do anything about it.